Chapter 5. The Hat. Mom was right. Judy Billings didn't spit at me or say hello or look at me or anything in school today. In other words, she ignored me just like every other day. Even when she dropped her pencil on the floor during silent reading and I picked it up and handed it to her, she didn't even say thank you. And my mother was right about the angel stuff. From the moment Mrs. Sims said, "Good morning, angels," we all answered, "Good morning, Mrs. Sims." And you could feel the angel buzz in the air. Darren, who never says please or thank you, raised his hand and said, "Mrs. Sims, may I please go to the bathroom?" And when Darren came back, Missy, who is the shyest person in the class, whispered to him as he went past her desk, "Your fly is open." All day long, please and thank yous and pardon me's were flying around like bees at a picnic. A lot of who did it's too, because from the first minute, all eyes were on Mrs. Sims' desk. Sitting right there was an apple. A really big red apple. A really big red polished apple. Buffed to a shine like it was a new corn. Whispers raced up and down the aisles. Who did it? Who did it? Who did it? Nobody knew, except me. As the whispers were flying around, I was doing my usual thing in my seat behind Judy Billings, staring at her perfect, uncovered right ear. I started to notice something. The perfect curve at the top of her ear was getting pink, then red, and then whispers were flying and Judy Billings was blushing. Aha! I thought. The apple came from her. Some of Judy Billings' blush sank into my chest. We shared a secret. I closed my fist and I vowed nothing, nothing, not 100 spiders or torture by tickling or 10 Gerald Willises would ever make me rat her out. During silent reading, Mrs. Sims was writing something. It was hard to concentrate on my book. I kept looking up at her. So did everybody else. We were all wondering the same thing. Is she writing something good about me? Perfect in every way. I kept remembering what Judy Billings had said about the angels yesterday, and that's what we were today. Perfect in every way. We sat straight in our chairs and raised our hands for every question and stood to give our answers, and we were as quiet as mice the rest of the time. I kept reminding myself to keep my lip buttoned and not blurt out stuff like yesterday. Only Joey was bad. He kept making weird noises and funny faces. He was trying to make us all laugh, but nobody did. Even in the lunchroom, we were perfect. Kids are never perfect in the lunchroom. Everybody smiled at the lunch ladies and said thank you whenever they handed us something. And everybody chewed with their mouths shut. Oh, that would be my dream. One of my biggest pet peeves is hearing people chew and seeing their food. Everyone chewed with their mouths shut, except Joey. Then came after lunch recess. It was a warm and sunny day, but really windy. Swings were flapping when nobody sat on them. Basketball shots were curving. Besides the wind, everything was going along pretty normal until a yellow baseball cap came flying onto the playground. On the other side of the fence, a lady jogging in a sweatsuit had stopped. She was still jogging in place. She was pointing to her hat, which had blown off and landed among a bunch of third graders. For a second, nobody moved. And then all of a sudden, it hit us all at the same time. Do a good deed! About 10 of us pounced down the hat. There were so many hands, the best I could do was grab somebody's wrist. We were wrenching and pulling and twisting in 10 different ways. I got it, let go! I was first, ow! Suddenly, we all snapped apart like a broken wishbone. Eddie was holding the rim of the hat, and Diana was holding the rest. "Uh-oh," somebody said. Everybody was just staring at the hat pieces except Joey. Joey was laughing. A screech came from the sidewalk. "You little hoodlums!" The jogger lady kicked the chain link fence and started running. Mrs. Sims was standing in the doorway, watching. Silence in the classroom. The two pieces of the yellow hat sat on Mrs. Sims' desk. In between them was the apple. "That was disgraceful," said Mrs. Sims. "Very unangelic behavior." Judy Billings raised her hand. Mrs. Sims didn't call on her, but Judy stood up and spoke anyways. "But I didn't do it. I was just watching." It sounded like she might cry. Mrs. Sims didn't even look Judy's way. Judy sat down. "You're all guilty," said Mrs. Sims. "You're guilty of doing it. You're guilty of watching and doing nothing to stop it. How many of you went over to that lady and told her you were sorry for the bad behavior of your classmates?" No hands went up. "Didn't think so. You're all guilty of that too." She looked at us like we were burnt toast. "Angels?" This may be the first class where nobody gets a halo. "Angels? You are no better than a pack of sharks after a piece of meat." Joey burst out laughing. "Button it, Peterson," said Mrs. Sims. Joey buttoned it, and the rest of us stopped breathing. "I guess it was all just words, huh?" said Mrs. Sims. "Angel talk." "No angel do. With this," she held up half the hat in each hand, "will never happen again." Her eyes went up and down the rows, zapping each of us with a "yeah, you" glare. She put the hat halves down. "Got it?" No sounds came from us. We just boggled and nodded.